The story starts off from where it ended. The captain of the Blue Knights tries Annie's soup, surprising him of how good it is. The Blue Knight squad compliment Annie's soup recipe, calling it a flawless dish of flavor. They start to question if this is really a dish made by a 14-year-old. X starts to remind how he was correct of how tasty Annie's cooking is. X starts to brag about how Annie's soup is the best in the world, commenting how all those prideful nobles have the same taste as them anyway, keeping his mouth open as food flew to the captain's face, and Nikita starts to giggle. The captain then grabs a hold of X, telling him to stay quiet and to not eat like a wild animal. Both X and the captain get hit in the head by frying pans. Annie and Nikita scold both of them, for X to not get on the table, and for the captain to act more mature. Kenta's giggles while mentioning how a mess everything is right now. The captain suddenly punches Kenta's, asking what is he smirking about, quickly beating him and letting him know who's the captain of the squad, while X cheered the captain to keep beating up Kenta's. Ash commends X for having outgoing personality, making him able to connect with almost anybody, commenting how X opens his heart to strangers they don't know well. It switches to 5 hours ago, when X and Ash woke up in bed. Ash questions how they could become knights, while X interrupts him and demands the captain to let him know what happened to his friends. The captain stays silent. X gets worried and asks if something happened. The captain then lies and tells X he couldn't save Annie and Muse. X gets up furiously, asking what is he talking about. The captain keeps up with his lie and tells X he could only save them two. X then questions what kind of knight is he, and he couldn't even save 2 more kids. The captain then notices X has the mana of a hero, and it's pretty good as well. He compares it to a wild beast that has lived for ages, wanting to test X's skills out. Nikita puts a stop to it, slamming the door on X's face. She informs X that her captain likes to lie as much as he eats. Nikita tells her captain this is one of his bad habits, and it's not okay to play around with the kid's heart. Nikita then informs X that Annie and Muse are waiting downstairs in the kitchen preparing food. Her captain asks why did she tell him. X yells at the captain, asking why would he lie like that, commenting how his conscience is as bushy as his face. The captain tells X that's no way to talk to his savior, while Nikita tries to calm both of them down while giggling. The captain, embarrassed, tells Nikita to stop laughing at him. Ash thinks to himself that it seemed like an obvious lie, as it doesn't make sense that someone who can slay a boss monster in 1 strike fails to save 2 more kids. Ash starts to analyze the situation, coming to the conclusion that the captain is favorable to them, and he was testing X for the knight position. Ash then suddenly asks the captain why did he pick them two, because isn't becoming a knight something only nobles are allowed to do? The captain notices that Ash has a distrustful look in his face. He then wonders if the kids were able to survive in the forest's harsh environment because of Ash's cautious nature. The captain then tells the boys to follow him outside to finish their talk. The Blue Knight squad introduced themselves to Ash and X. The captain's full name is Full Moon Rue. The vice captain is Nikita Faranden, who is knowledgeable of spells and magic swordsmanship. The captain then introduces the 3rd member of the Knight squad, Kentaz, calling him useless, while Kentaz argues and says he graduated as an elite from the academy. The captain ignores Kentaz and asks the boys to introduce themselves. X is the happy-go-lucky guy, while Ash is the serious and cautious type of guy. The captain then remembers to tell them, while they were sleeping, he heard various things from Annie, such as the reason behind living hidden in the forest, and the reason behind all the thievery. Both X and Ash are startled, Ash getting more suspicious and cautious about the captain's intentions. The captain then tells Ash that he asked why the 2 of them should join the knighthood. The reason is simple. It's because the captain can see both of them are extremely strong. He explains that the knights are currently fighting against the demons, and the knighthood is an organization created to protect and save humanity. The captain then explains his reason for recruiting them, because all captain need to recommend a candidate student to Ragna once every 4 years. X gets hyped, asking if he's going to recommend them to Ragna, but X then remembers he's the one who stole his jewelry, the dungeon stone, How can he recommend someone like that? The captain nods his head. That's the reason. They were able to steal from him. That's why he chose them to. X was able to steal the dungeon stone from the captain without him noticing, meaning X has incredible talent. However, the captain says the direction he did it was wrong. He should use his talent to save the world. X deeply thinks about it, to use his thievery to save the world. He then asks the captain if Ash is coming as well with him. X then asks Ash if he's coming as well. Ash stays silent for a moment. Ash doesn't agree, while X asks him why he's refusing a chance like this. Ash tells X he should go, because he doesn't need a grand goal to save the world. He can be happy with Annie and Muse, while X can follow his dreams. Ash thinks to himself that it is a great opportunity, but who will protect Annie and Muse if both of them leave? The captain notices that Ash isn't being truthful, and concludes it's because of Annie and Muse. He comments that Annie has a remarkable talent for cooking, and Kentiz has a relative who works as an instructor for a royal culinary school, and comments that Annie and Muse can get in there. He adds that their safety is given and their identity will be secured. They'll be able to become royal chefs if their grades are good. Ash says it's truly a good opportunity, but Annie's cooking is still excellent. They are fine with the small soup store. The captain comments that he heard from Annie that Ash lost his past memories, and that his hand-healing skill ability isn't something he's seen as well. But the Library of Knighthood has information from all around the world, and he might be able to find out more of his past and hand ability. Ash is shocked that he'll be able to find more information of his past. The captain informs them there is a reason for all of them to be outside. The captain asks Kentiz if all the preparations are ready. Kentiz confirms it, and calls him master sarcastically. Kentiz asks the captain, isn't it too harsh for him to send Kentiz to capture all the slave traders in half a day? X and Ash are surprised. They captured all slave traders around the area and anyone related to them, even the lords who turned a blind eye. They will not be able to escape from the judgment of the law. They will rot in jail, or until they become crippled. The captain tells both X and Ash, these are only the small parts of the power that knighthood wields. He asks them again to become knights and change the world for the better with their talents. Both X and Ash start wondering if they can really change the world. It switches back to the present, Ash thinking the captain looks like an idiot, just like X, while Annie and Nikita chase after the two. Time passes and everyone finishes their meal. X asks the captain when are they departing to the knighthood place. The captain responds with as soon as possible, but he first needs to recover the mana he used to spread around the city to look for the dungeon stone. X finally learns about the dungeon stone and asks what is it. Nikita explains, it's an item that explodes and causes a dungeon break. It was originally a holy item, but the demons are using it to enter the human realm to cause chaos. She then scolds X for stealing a really dangerous item a while back. X laughs it off, telling her he thought it was an expensive jewel. The captain defends X and takes the blame as he's the one who lost it in the first place, and luckily it was still within his range of mana release. Kentiz then asks the captain if he released his mana in that wide area. Isn't there a possibility that a monster might follow it and appear? The captain tells Kentiz that it's his own mana from the Blue Knights captain. Which monster will be dumb enough to follow his mana release? Suddenly, it starts to thunder, the sky turned black. Ash comments how it was just clear a moment ago. X guesses it might start to rain in a bit. The sky starts to open, purple lighting striking down. A demon has appeared from the shattered sky. Finally, after sensing the ominous mana, the Blue Knight squad detect the presence of the demon, a high-ranking demon. The high-ranking demon is searching for something. The captain curses the dungeon stone, wondering if it was linked to the demon. X and Ash are stunned and shocked. What kind of pressure is this? Enough to make them feel like the air is crushing them. The demon suddenly calls out for the Blue Knights captain, shaming him for running away from their last duel. The captain commands for Nikita to set the barrier to max output over the whole town, and for Kentiz to evacuate the town people immediately. The demon picks up his sword and yells to determine who's the strongest swordman today, sending a demonic slash towards the town. His slash crushing many structures, causing great shockwaves of chaos. The demon stands above the destruction he caused, grinning. The demon's real name is Rei Jericho, a legendary level 99 higher demon, taunting the captain to come outside and to pull out his sword. The demon senses the captain. A sudden blue slash comes his way, the demon dodging it. The demon compliments his intense sword aura and calls him a worthy opponent. The captain stands in front of the innocent citizens, protecting them with his body and sword. Captain asks the demon why didn't he just die somewhere alone. He doesn't want to keep seeing his demonic face ever again. The demon tells Captain his sword seems to have waited for him, unlike his mouth. The demon hasn't forgotten the unpleasant markings the captain left on his body, the scar he was given by Captain's inferior sword. Captain mocks the demon by telling him to put some ointment on it. Captain can't reflect the demon's dangerous mana, or he'll put the kids' and innocent civilians' lives in danger. Captain shouts for Kenta's to hurry up. Kenta then grabs X and Ash. The demon gets enraged, seeing all these humans so relaxed in front of his presence. He promises to tear everyone apart at once, using the demonic swordsmanship third form, causing a hurricane slash to head towards the civilians. The captain notices the demon's temper is just like before, calling the demon difficult in so many ways, taking the hurricane slash head on with his body and sword, at the end being able to deflect the slash upwards to the sky. The demon calls out for the captain, expressing how their swordsmanships are equal. Captain was able to deflect a majority of it, but he still got hit by it at the end. He withstood the demon's attack with his body, to open an escape route for the civilians. The demon comments how the knighthood morals will be his downfall. Captain refocuses himself. He replies to the demon that the first step of knighthood is a knight must protect humanity at all costs. The demon mocks the knighthood, telling him how many said the exact same words and died by his demonic sword. The captain calls his injury a handicap, but he likes things to be more fun anyway. He is told that his mouth is crude, unlike his blade. The demon asks Captain if he'll still talk like that after he cuts off his limbs. Captain then is suddenly informed by Nikita that everyone has been evacuated from the town. The captain compliments his apprentices for being capable and reliable, because he can finally let loose as much as he wants. He asks if it's the demon's wish to die, he'll have no choice but to help him with that. The demon gets hyped, telling the captain to go at him at full power. Both are going at each other with full power of their secret swordsmanship, causing a collision of powerful mana in each single strike, their blades moving at lightning speed. Both were concentrated on each other, as one mistake could lead to their demise. Captain is able to block and push back the demon, but the demon is unfazed and instead wants more, jumping back into it. He tells Captain to swing more and to burn everything to ashes and perish by his demonic sword. The captain comments how the blue demon sure do love him. If he was popular among the demon women, he would have left the knighthood long time ago. The demon starts to mock him and laughs, asking if he's tired already. The captain tells the demon it's called going easy on him. The demon calls his bluff, telling Captain he's been getting slower the longer they keep fighting. Both step back for a brief moment, then return back to their battle to the death. X and Ash witness the battle between two master swordmen. X comments how the captain is being pushed back. Ash mentions it's most likely due to Captain previously taking a hit from the demon's skill directly. Ash questions why the captain is doing this. He could have died himself. So why is he risking his life for strangers? Just because he's a knight. Mysterious hooded people watch the battle from the sidelines. They seem to know the demon in a personal level. The short hooded guy apologizes to the other for the inconvenience that the higher demon is causing. The other hooded guy brushes it off, commenting he always wanted to visit this place anyway. He then pulls out 2 stones, mentioning how well will the 2 knights do, birthing 2 deadly monsters from the 2 stones. Civilians start to panic and run at the sight of the 2 monsters. Nikita tells everyone to stay calm, realizing that the higher demon isn't alone. Someone summoned 2 boss monsters. If there's another higher demon, It'll be hard for only her and Kenta to evacuate the citizens all by themselves. Nikita then thinks if it's just to protect the citizens from the multiplying monsters, she quickly gives X and Ash 2 swords. She informs them that the monsters in front of them are named, meaning they are going to be far stronger than the horned bear they met in the forest. Both of the named monsters possess the hatch skill. If they are left alone to multiply, they will breed ceaselessly. They are dangerous creatures that can devastate a castle alone. The offspring of the snake boss monster start to come towards the citizens. Luckily, Nikita puts a stop to it with her sword. She explains the plan to eliminate the named boss monsters as quickly as possible. X and Ash will get rid of the little ones, while her and Kenta will deal with the named bosses. Until then, she tells X and Ash to guard the townsfolk on their way to the forest outside of town. X and Ash get overwhelmed. They need to guard the townsfolk as they escape. She encourages them by reminding them that they got recognized by her captain. X starts to double-guess their strength, until he looks back and sees all the innocent citizens trusting them to protect them. A snake monster suddenly races towards X. X is startled by their speed, surpassing the speed of the wolves of the forest. He unexpectedly swings and is able to cut the quick-moving snake monster without a sweat. X is then scolded by the sword. He then realizes the sword moved on its own. X, thinking it was Ash who talked, asks him if he said anything, but Ash thinks it was X who talked instead. The sword then reveals its presence, calling both X and Ash fools. X gets surprised and hyped for the talking sword. Ash is mostly confused over the situation. The sword tells them there's no time for talking and tells them to listen closely. Ash comments that the sword could have told them sooner. The sword starts explaining that the viper snake monster possess strong paralyzing venom and are capable of generating even after their body is chopped up, and the demonic lobster is capable of crushing their prey with claws hard as steel. Their ability to regenerate their shell is outstanding. The sword mentions the common trait of both monsters are regeneration, and they cannot be killed even if you cut them. They can only kill them if the sword applies magic on X and Ash. It'll be impossible to defeat them without support. X and Ash question how it works, but are ready nevertheless. The sword commands them to first open up their skill and status windows. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the late upload. I'll work on my videos faster from now on. Like and follow for part 3.